Hello everyone. This presentation will focus on equitable access in technology. When we talk about equity and access and technology, we often think about the digital divide. For example, looking at access to one type of technology, the internet, we see that not everyone in the world has equal access. About 70 to 79% of Americans have access to the internet, whereas our neighbors in the north enjoy greater access while our neighbors in the south have far less access than we do. But when we think about equitable access, especially related to technology, we need to go beyond our traditional notions of the digital divide to instead the digital use divide. Because just closing the digital divide alone will not transform learning. We must also close the digital use divide by ensuring all students understand how to use technology as a tool to engage in creative, productive, lifelong learning rather than simply consuming passive content. So when we are talking about equitable access, we are talking about digital learning for all. It includes equal access to infrastructure, but equitable access means more than simply providing devices and connectivity. It also means giving every student the opportunity to learn from teachers who understand how to use technology to both enhance learning and create quality learning experiences for all students, including students with special needs. To contextualize what I'm talking about, allow me to introduce to you Ms. Patel.
Hello everyone, I am Miss Patel. I have worked as a special ed teacher for the last 5 years. This is my first year as a special ed teacher in an online program. I am really excited.
Well, welcome, Ms. Patel. If I may ask, why did your students decide to enroll in an online program?
Some of my students are dealing with social anxiety, so this was a really good alternative for them. Then I have those who live far away and cannot really travel, so this allows them to work from home. And of course, I have many parents that want to try out this new program because they think it gives them greater flexibility.
Those are all valid reasons why parents might be interested in enrolling their child in an online program. So, how are you doing? Are you enjoying teaching online?
Yes, I am enjoying quite a bit. I get to do multimedia projects, participate in online discussion boards, customize learning for my students. I love it, though. There is a group of students that are not progressing despite the various supports I have provided. I wonder why?
While reflecting on all of the enhancements she has made to her lessons, Ms. Patel is caught off guard when she opens an email from her principal. Dear Ms. Patel, I hope you're enjoying teaching online this year. I see that you have put in a lot of effort with your lessons. Thank you. This is to inform you that some of the resources you're using do not meet the district's accessibility standards. Don't worry, I'm sure we can get you trained on this. Let's meet this week to discuss this further. Best regards, Janet, school principal.
Oh dear, I am worried and confused. My lessons are so rich, interactive, and technology infused. How can they be restrictive? What am I doing wrong? Is it possible that perhaps the online tools I am using, they are becoming a barrier to student learning?
Well, Ms. Patel is on to something. We have a misconception that the web is an inherently equalizing and accessible platform. And we often assume that whatever we put online, because it is online, becomes equally accessible because of the inherent nature of the web. As Ms. Patel found out, this is not necessarily true. As a matter of fact, the many benefits of web-based technologies also come with an array of accessibility challenges. According to the Center on Online Learning and Students with Disabilities, vast majority of online learning systems designed for these grade levels present content that is not appropriately designed for or accessible to many students with disabilities. Unfortunately, traditional approaches teachers often use to provide students with accessible instructional materials cannot easily be applied to online learning environments. Therefore, knowing how to identify and select accessible online tools is critical to creating and implementing online learning environments for all learners. That is part of the knowledge, the technological pedagogical knowledge alluded to by the TPACK model.
Oh dear, I didn't really think about all of this. I wonder what are the legal requirements for teachers to provide accessible instructional materials.
That's an important question, Ms. Patel. Let's take a quick look at the legal requirements. In 1988, Congress amended the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 with Section 508, requiring federal agencies to make their electronic and information technology accessible to people with disabilities. Although Section 508 requirements apply only to federal government purchases, any state receiving funds through the Technology Related Assistance for Individuals with Disabilities Act of 1988, better known as the TECH Act, are also subject to these requirements. The U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, OCR, has been increasingly attentive to the challenges presented by inaccessible digital curriculum materials, their online delivery systems, and the mobile devices that deploy them. In May 2011, OCR clarified the specific legal requirements relative to digital curriculum resources. Equal opportunity, equal treatment, and the obligation to make accommodations or modifications to avoid disability-based discrimination also apply to elementary and secondary schools under the general non-discrimination provisions in Section 504 and the ADA. The application of these principles to elementary and secondary schools is also supported by the requirement to provide a free, appropriate public education to students with disabilities.
Oh wow, the law is very clear. So, how can we make sure that we provide accessible instructional material to our students?
Well, the law does not restrict schools from acquiring or using inaccessible technologies. Instead, it requires schools to make sure they provide students with disabilities other accommodations or modifications. However, transforming inaccessible non-digital and digital curriculum into accessible formats may well be beyond the scope and capabilities of most elementary and secondary schools. A better, more cost and time-effective strategy would be to make sure that digital materials, delivery systems, and devices are accessible from the outset. In the next presentation, we will take a closer look at some of the tools available online that will allow us to do just that.
Dr. Saleem, thank you so much for helping me understand about equitable access online. I look forward to exploring ways to assess online resources for accessibility.
Well, thank you, Ms. Patel. I would also like to give a special thanks to Andrew, Heishi, and Skip Stahl. Their paper titled Making Online Learning Accessible for Students with Disabilities made significant contributions to this presentation. So thank you guys. And thank you for watching this presentation. And with best wishes, good luck.